heroes in like the first 20-25 minutes, because this hero, it becomes so hard to bring down about 15-20 minutes when your combination of the familiars plus the Gravekeeper's cloak, if you have nothing to be able to deal with those familiars and the high damage resistance that they have, then they just kind of you just kind of run over them. Gambit do have some like a couple of signature cores for them. I think that Blizzy Axe, that is very iconic for him at this point. But the other one would be Dream. When looking at him as a player, I feel like he operates best when he has some sort of carry that has the timing to go in. So if you talk about like early game heroes, that's going to be more like Gyrocopter or Lifestealers, you know, that just like have a very clear frontlining presence.
Yeah.
But heroes like Faceless Void work to his advantage as well, where there is a sense of initiation. There's a timing in your team fight where you just jump in. So I think that's usually where he plays best. It is going to be a tough game, though. I think that a lot of this is going to come down to GPK and Blizzy. They need to be able to win their lanes and be pretty active. Otherwise, the 5-man of Liquid starts becoming really tough to bring down.
Yeah, really couldn't agree with you more. They have great setup. They got their comfort heroes. The opportunities are going to be there if they can win the lanes. A little concerned about the damage they're going to be able to output, though. How much can they dish into that bubble? You know, when you have an Axe, you have a lot of melee on your team. You got the Ogre. You can dump in some abilities, but, you know, we got to see if they're going to be able to follow through with those, you know, potential strong initiations here.
That's a great point, just because they don't really have any like clear damage that they dump in to the bubble,
Not
right?
even Storm can jump in there. He's just kind of right-clicking from the outside. This is all on like Faceless Void to just get it done with right clicks.
Even Grimstroke, like one of the only potential advantages you have would be the Ren damage on your Phantom's Embrace got buffed. So it does up to 360 damage. That's a pretty big nuke. But if you throw it out when the Chronosphere is already there, then they're going to get stuck on the bubble.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have it already pre-applied before the Chronosphere goes in. That's literally it. Other than that, it's like, what, Fire Blast or Inkswell? Like, those are overlapping stuns in a Chronosphere and not terribly high damage. What you want is a spell that's pure damage, like does more than normal, while simultaneously forfeiting any sort of disable. That's why Skywrath Mage works so good with it.
Yeah, it feels on the surface a little unsynergetic, but, you know, lots of initiation power. Maybe you get Blizzy to kind of start things off, and then the Faceless Void can kind of come in as a janitor to clean things up in the back of a Chrono. For now, obviously, both side lanes getting incredibly feisty here. They're dishing out as much tag team damage as they can onto Dream, but he has the creep wave under the tower. The equilibrium is at least working in their favor. He'll deal with the last hitting under the tower as Ogre is trying to be the bouncer to Taiga. You know, Taiga can kind of juke in and out on the outskirts a bit. Ogre great to kind of get up in her face, but she's kind of hard to straight up harass here. So there's room for Boxy to kind of get the last hits in. He's 11-0 when you compare it to Void's 9-1. He's hanging for sure.
Yeah. I think since we have highlighted the problems that they could have top lane, Blizzy actually might go down, and this is so bad. They might actually give up a second kill, though the Inkswell may push Mickey away. In fact, the stun is good enough. But I really need you to win that Axe matchup against the Ember Spirit. I think it is so important because Axe's timing can be a little bit slower. If he loses his lane, there is a very short window.
Trouble bottom, as we're going to see the shot down there. It's Taiga getting last hit with that power shot. Deceptively good damage there, and even the fat Ogre is not going to be able to withstand it. And it's a little concerning. That means Dream is going to have to backpedal a lot. Taiga is like the full support enforcer in this, and Boxy's going to get a full wave to work with. It's going to be a heavy amount of pressure coming back that way with 2 range creeps. A little bit of redemption, CS potentially there for Dream, but nonetheless, it's looking like 2 strong side lanes for Liquid to start this one out.
Yeah, and another lane that isn't going as well as I would hope is the Storm versus Visage matchup. He is winning in CS, but I want him to like really dominate. I want him to have more denies because Visage, one of his biggest problems as a mid laner is pre-level 6, no damage. I mean, just look at his base attack. He's hitting for 60 damage right now. You look at Storm Spirit, he's hitting for 80. Right? You have a significant damage lead on this hero. I need you to get like a significant CS advantage over this Visage. I need him to get a lot of denies in this matchup to keep the Visage underleveled. Because once he does hit 6, then he starts really scaling upwards.
Koifa was able to get hold of the Arcane Real top. Well, they go for the creep pull, and as Peter mentioned in the panel, what is a Coddle going to do to stop an Axe? He's just watching this guy come into his turf and just can't offer a whole lot. Blizzy will just chop him down and get a little bit of redemption going his way in that side lane.
I think they didn't do this this creep cutting before because they wanted to pressure the Ember Spirit more. Like they wanted to actively, because you've got a pretty interesting kill combination where you have this Axe who just runs at you with Inkswell. You'll, again, no matter how tanky you are with the Ogre, Tusk makes everybody squishy.
Yeah, interesting and deadly, for sure. If you are crossing the wrong path of the Axe there, as he's got the full wave, he's got the neutral camp, and a Grimstroke by his shoulder to kind of watch the whole thing go down and sap some of the XP. Just kind of touching base back at bottom a bit. Boxy still 21. Void's been able to catch him a bit with 23, but yeah, nice snag there. Taiga had been roaming around a bit. Ventures through that mid lane and gets spotted out from Storm.
When you are a mobile hero or even just a hero that has won their lane, I really like it when mids pressure by being able to go onto the enemy side of the map and take away their bounty rune. Because it can result in a kill like that on a forward position that backs up. Either that or you get the rune advantage, especially if you have like a bottle or something. So GPK, smart move by him. And now that he has his level 6, I'd love to see a kill on that Visage. And the reason why I'm really backing Gambit here is I feel like the game's going to become very hard. So I need to see some victories right now in this like early laning phase.
How's it work for Koifa then, as he's still kind of a potential target, as you're mentioning? He is level 6 now. Is this when Visage really starts to take off? Obviously something I'm not too familiar with as a hero. Certainly not seeing it mid lane a whole lot as of recent.
Yeah, this hero isn't, it does come online in a way at level 6, but it sticks around that mid lane primarily.
Okay.
You don't really become this massive teamfight presence until you've got maxed out with the Gravekeeper's Cloak, because you could become this like frontlining terror where your familiars, no one can deal with them because they have this huge damage resistance thanks to the Cloak Aura.
Oh, trouble top lane. Coddle now has the assistance of Ember to come try to slow all this creep pull shenanigans here. Insane eating a lot of damage though with the Battle Hunger. Does survive. Blizzy hiding by the tree. Finds the old man. Looks to chase him down. Mickey's forced to jump back to bail him out. There's the blast, and Insane gets a little bit of redemption there while Grimstroke will peace out back to the tower.
This was a good game plan by Liquid. What they did is they pretty much gave Mickey the solo experience so he can have his level 6 and be a mobile hero and try and shut down the Axe. I mean, you just look at the level matchup. He was level 7 compared to level 5's Axe because he was sharing all that experience with the Grimstroke.
Good heads up from Liquid and Insania to kind of just leave the lane alone and be a scouting potential there for the Axe. And now with that level advantage, they turn the tide of the side lane a bit. Here we have Dream. He's got level 6. You know, would you like to see him kind of put that Chrono to use sooner than later? But then it's always that question of, is he going to be able to finish his plate? Does he need the assistance of extra damage? And if he does, where's it going to come from?
I'm totally down if there's a kill opportunity on someone small, like even the Wind Ranger in lane, to use the Chronosphere there, just because it's not a timing that Liquid can take advantage of right now. Again, I think Koifa, as a Visage mid, you want to be able to just sit and keep farming until you're like level 12 probably, where you have the level 2 familiars, maxed out Cloak, and you've got a few teamfight items like the Helmet Dominator. That is like a clear 20-minute timing. So if you see an opportunity for a kill, go for it. I'm very pessimistic about that just because they don't have the damage to put in.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of those kind of thoughts through Void's game. Until we get more backup potential here from the Gambit side, GPK steps out, puts himself into the shadows as he farms through the jungle while we see top lane getting up in the face of Vampire here. Jump in from Blizzy now to hold McKay. Can Vampire make it away from this one? The chase is on. But here comes Dream, and he does dish out that Chrono. The Blinding Light, though, comes out from Insania. Now they're swinging and they're missing all over the place, and there is no damage to be had. They're even time walking forward for it, but McKay, at the end of the day, walks away. It's a rotation and Chrono for naught.
Yeah, you saw the Phantom's Embrace. It went out, but it got stuck in the Chronosphere, which means they didn't have a silence to be able to keep Mickey in place to allow Dream to keep on banging on him. That's now a Chronosphere wasted and a rotation that looks really lackluster. The only way they could really forgive this rotation is if they manage to take the tower, but that feels unlikely. Or at least it feels like it's going to take a very long time to do so.
Apparently phantoms abide by the law of time. And Grimstroke is not going to be happy about that one bit. As we see him make the return to the top lane, we're just going to have a new side lane set up here. In the meantime, as they continue to farm up, GPK continues to grind his way there. Koikva's got the mid lane open now and can get some serious damage on this tier 1. Probably even going to be totally free, it looks like. Oh, wow. Nice opening for Liquid there while Blizzy
takes the stack away. That is pretty hype.
It's a lot of money. He's trying to just blitz his way towards that Blink Dagger. He's got 1,300 gold towards it, but he's being chased now.
Pretty good read by him to cut through this middle tier 2, tier 3 area. There is a small line where you can cut through there without being spotted during nighttime specifically. Right. Daytime, it's impossible.
He gets right to the 10-minute bounty rune. Does get shackled up, but goes for the TP shortly thereafter. Still a bounty at that lower river spot as well, but it looks like Koikva should be in the neighborhood to be able to pick it up if he so chooses, but he's decided to step away from that mid lane. His objective's complete, getting that tower down, so it's on to the next one, and that seems to be bottom lane here. We are seeing some presence, though, from Gambit's side as the goons roll back down here. Still no chrono for about 40 seconds, and they'll cross paths with Boxy. But, one simple rotation from Liquid, and we could see a fight, potentially break out, because in the meantime, Gambit are going for pressure on top. A jump in comes out from GPK, and it looks like they spotted Insania. This should be an easy takedown of the old man.
Nice for GPK to be able to show up. He timed this rotation with the Siege Wagon push because they have to be able to. I don't think they can fight into this Visage very easily, so they have to play the opposite side of the map, and they need to try and equalize the tower advantage if possible. But they just don't have any clear. Again, they have damage issues with heroes. Well, they're certainly going to have damage issues with towers as well.
True.
Liquid are going to take advantage of this by playing into mid lane with Mickey at the same time and might even catch a kill on Dream.
Nice snag, but Time Walk is there and the Shackle is not, unfortunately, or at least Mickey's little chains are not going to be there for the additional lockdown potential. They are going to get the finish of that tier 1 top you were talking about as Gambit tried to even the score and resources and funding as much as possible. Koikva is just really gobbling up a lot of the farm. After he swiftly takes down that mid tier 1, he gets the bottom tier 1 and has just gobbled up all of the available jungle farm from Gambit's side too.
Yeah, this is a combination of your familiars. Oh, Boxy. Never mind. He's good. This is a combination of your familiars being a really good farming tool. The Helm Dominator, which actually significantly increases your damage. If you look at the familiars, they're hitting for 31 damage because he has a 60% damage buff right now between his Helmet Dominator and the Wolf that he managed to grab.
Okay, Axe in trouble, gets out the call, but just far too much damage being spammed out from the high ground. He may not even know where it's coming from, but on the other side of the map, we got to jump in from GPK, grab, pull back, and Boxy's going to be taken down. That's a killing spree. Suddenly for your Storm Spirit, he holds a lot of the momentum for Gambit in this one. Him and Axe, and as you mentioned, they need to be the stars of the show. They need to be getting a lot at this point and moving forward. Yeah,
very unsurprising that GPK is the star of the show. It feels like he is the star of this team. Very value core player. There's a reason why the organization of Gambit held on to this player so tightly rather than trading him away to potentially better prospects for GPK himself. He is making a lot of good moves, but at some point in time, he's going to run out of space doing it himself. And that's why he needs Blizzy to finish up this Blink Dagger so badly. Even though it is Blizzy's axe and stuff, Liquid has done a good job of targeting him. They've found several kills on him, delaying his Blink Dagger significantly. You delay that Blink Dagger, then it means you naturally just stall up the items, the follow-up items that make Axe so strong,
yeah.
Right? Because if you get a really late Blink Dagger, what inevitably happens with Axe is he becomes a suicide initiation. And that just means, every single initiation, you jump in, you die, you get no growth in net worth.
And they kind of need that extra burst to finish their plate, the colon, the ult, because it's how much, as we keep questioning, how much damage are they going to have to even finish them out? They'll need any extra threshold kills they can get a hold of. The problem is that Boxy also was able to pick up the Blink Dagger on his behalf, so he has a clutch save now for what could be a setup from the Axe from the get-go. But there we see Axe has his blink in hand. Big smoke movements are coming out. Gambit patrol through the river looking for anybody. They are going to come across Boxy. He was waiting at the top of the staircase. They jump to the low ground. Move in. Chrono does come out from Dream. They look to target the both of them. Where's the damage? They can't stop or do anything about it. The Will-O-Wisp is going to be there from Insania, and he says, lay off my guys. Pushes them back out from the river to the high ground. They pop Vampire, and the rest of Gambit have to waddle away. Or can they make it out? Blizzy, trapped within the shards. He does have the blink and should be able to make it to safer pastures. It's Liquid, though, who suffer no scratches or battle scars on this one. Gambit's patrol does not work out for him.
Yeah, and I think Liquid, if there was an easy objective on the map for them to take, they could easily go for it. Looks like maybe top lane. You've got Pipe on Koifa, so this is one of the largest power spikes you're going to receive. As a Visage, you seemingly like shrug off all damage that is pumped into you. I just hope they back him up a little bit because they are going to try and initiate here.
Yeah, we see the Moment of Brilliance replay as it was a great Will-O-Wisp to cancel out the Chrono while we do have action top lane.
Snowball.
GPK tries to move on forward. They battle through, but yeah, that snowball, that defense from Liquid, the heads up, is just too good. Are they even going to take anyone down from Liquid's side? It's a double kill for Koikfa, and they're not done yet. Chase is on for little Yol on the Ogre. He's trying to just waltz himself out. Turns to Mickey, is eating a lot of damage, but they're not going to have the finishing potential. It's 4 to drop. Liquid lose nobody, and 4 to 11 with a 7K net worth lead. I think we might see our first W for Liquid if things continue this way.
Yeah, I think inherently there is a problem with that initiation in that you're going on the Visage first. Unless you think that he is completely isolated, this is just a bad idea because look how he is fully initiated on by 3 different heroes, and he doesn't really take that much damage. And even if they do kill him, his familiars will still be alive. So he will still have a significant impact in the fight. Even if he's dead here, the rest of Liquid will still clean you up with the help of the familiars for sure.
Yeah, with Koikfa being able to pick up that pipe and having so much defense, he just reaches this whole new power peak. Gambit obviously not ready for it here and now. And I don't know if they have the time to afford this game to just suddenly, well, we'll just sit back and build up more resources and get them in the next round, fellas. I don't think that is going to be available to them with that pipe pickup. I mean, Liquid are just insinuating that is, you know, they're going into full drive at this point. It's a wonderful new voice line there, by the way. We're not seeing enough voice lines considering this is like our first coverage with the new battle pass.
Yeah, people are a little out of practice with it, I think, you know?
Now they're remembering now. They're like, oh yeah, we have voice lines.
Yeah, this is going to be a very free Roshan with all that physical damage, thanks to Tag Team working both with all of these heroes, but also works with the Familiars. It will not work with the Wolf, but Familiars are counted as like creep heroes, I think is the term of the mechanic. It's the same with like the Pandas. When Brewmaster splits, those all count as like semi-heroes for a lot of things like Tag Team, for
I would
example.
assume Lone Druid Bear falls in that category
exactly.
too?
Lone Druid Bear is the same way.
All right, fair enough. I'm learning the rules of Ice Frog on these kind of cases here as we see Snowball uppercuts onto Vampire, and he's sent back to the heavens above. Swift takedown. Mickey will pocket that kill. Liquid's assault continues here as they try to clean out that top tier 1. You know, it's Gambit trying to move around the map, take out what resources are there. If they can snag a kill opportunity, I'm sure they would go for it. But I think the era of seeing the jump in, prime, axe, blink, like that is gone. They might have to be more on the counter plays now and defensive plays.
I think if you were just to watch Mickey the entire game, you would get a really strong understanding of Gambit's biggest issue. It's just straight up damage. Like, he has been able to play fearless. He will just run across the map completely solo because the only thing that really kill him is like a perfect combination of Grimstroke plus maybe the Storm Spirit. And even then it would be hard. Remember when he was in top lane, he got Chronosphere and he didn't die? Well, he showed back up to lane with an axe and a void. 2 cores were in his lane, and he didn't care. He was still farming the lane because he knows there's just no threat.
I mean, he's itemizing that way too, right? I mean, Deso and
yeah.
It looks like Ag's next. There's no defensive item in sight. It seems like just such a confident build-up, and you can't really fault him for it, as you mentioned. There's just not enough to take down this Ember, and as the levels continue, he builds up his stats. It's just going to be a tougher challenge for Gambit, and suddenly here comes Liquid. They're knocking at the front door. They're moving in.
I mean, all his survivability really comes from his being around his visage as well, right?
True.
Like if he's around the visage, he's getting this pipe aura, which means this flame guard is not going to get knocked down nearly as quickly. He can even have a medallion of courage placed on him. At this point in time, I don't think there's anything that slows him down. They just keep on pushing until Gambit finally respond with the Chronosphere. And then if Gambit don't manage to win that fight, then you're guaranteed a lane of barracks.
Poor Yol outside the base was spotted as a kind of nearby bouncer, gets blasted out. I mean, but you're right, Liquid at kind of the stronger peak as they're here together, benefiting from each other's items and utility. And with Quakeva leading the helm on this Visage, it's just looking so damn scary. They'll backpedal for now. They're looking to go for the outpost to try to deny that 20-minute surge of XP.
This is fair. I think the only reason you back away from the push is because bounty runes are about to spawn. It's also a good opportunity to get a pick, right, as you move backwards into this side of the map where Gambit previously was farming. You could potentially find a pick. If not, you'll secure a lot of bounty runes. I don't think they should give Gambit too much time. The power spike of Liquid here is incredibly massive when you compare it to Gambit, who are still looking like you just finished a Manta on the Faceless Void. That is not a damage item, really, right? It doesn't change that much. You just now got Bloodstone on GPK, but similarly, it's not enough to really threaten this Ember Spirit too much.
It's like he needs a lot, right? He needs the damage, but he can't do damage if he gets hit with a blinding light while in the bubble. So I don't know. He's just like, I need to Manta off my problems so that I can get out whatever little damage I can and just prioritizes the defense over the offense for now. But it feels like whatever road he goes down, he doesn't have enough money to just get it all. And now suddenly Liquid are here at the front door again, and they got to backpedal and be here for a defense, or they risk just losing their first set of racks. There's the Bloodlust on the tower. That's not going to, unfortunately, help too much, and now the Raxes are totally exposed. The Wolf and the Familiars begin to go to work. You know, they still have Dream as he now makes his return back to the base. Are they going to try to catch Liquid on the way out?
No, I mean, they just gave up a full lane of barracks when they had Chronosphere up. You know, that shows what Gambit think about this game, that they feel like they're so far out of it right now that the very idea of fighting is just bad. They got to just split push. I'm a little bit surprised that they're still going out here like this because they're still a 5-man Liquid.
Yeah, and Liquid not afraid to make that quick turn. They sharply take down Blizzy. He's already out of the equation for 30 seconds, and Dream could be next. Thankfully able to get that time walk away, redeems a bit of his life, but look at them just scramble back home where it's safe. It's like one of those moments where they got Liquid move in, they get everything as they leave. Gambit's like, yeah, you better walk away. You better walk away. And then they
what'd you say?
What'd you say? Like, I'm sorry, man.
Nothing.
It's exactly how it felt there. And Blizzy was the one to eat the punch. And now Liquid are just going to hang around in this turf. They snipe down Vampire and just are in full and total control of this one at 4-16. You know, GPK will try to split these side lanes and build up what resources he can. I'm proud that he's been able to hold these charges on his Bloodstone without having to feed away too much, but feels like ultimately just is not going to amount to a whole lot. They need so much fights, so much time to farm. And I don't think Liquid are going to permit it one bit. Here they go, potentially looking to catch out GPK. He gets a long jump and TP though, and he'll be fine.
You know, I feel like a little bit of a broken record because casting these Gambit games, what I keep on going back to is that I feel like they're making some okay to decent moves. There's not that much better they can do. It just inherently comes down to their draft.
Oh my gosh, are they going to fulfill the Coddle bounty they set? They have a minute left to get the bounty. Get it, Sadia! No!
Oh dear.
He actually turns it around with the assistance of the Will-O-Wisps, kills Blizzy. And unfortunately, it was 2 bounties. They set a new bounty there at the end.
Oh, get him!
Get that bounty, boys! We got to get it! GPK wants it. That'd be hilarious if they got the bounty and then GG.
GG down immediately? That's what I would do. That's what I would do in this game. But Gambit, I mean, they still have a chance just because they do scale so well into late game, but it's going to require Liquid throwing on the high ground.
Oh, for sure. Mid lane, Dream, who was pressuring back Mickey, gets caught out as the goons show themselves from the riverside, and suddenly he's going to be out of the fight. 40 seconds. Liquid, I imagine, will migrate south, take this tier 2, and look to push in their second lane here. And as you mentioned, Gambit just got to play defensively and hope for some sort of overzealous action from Liquid. But my God, everybody's made of paper on Gambit's side, especially for support.
A core Tusk when he's ahead is very tough to fight into. I think people underestimate how much damage Walrus Punch does because you're so used to seeing it on a support. And it's like, it's more of a disable more than anything. But a core Tusk that has levels and actually gets a couple of strength items, he usually takes like at least half a support's health with just Walrus Punch.
When somebody sets a bounty, do both teams see it?
I have no idea.
I'm curious if Insania sees them like marking him up all the time. That would be funny. It could be a good mind game tactic potentially for the future as well, as we see Liquid smoked up, using the high ground nearby to see if maybe Gambit make an approach. They are from the low ground coming in. They're going to get spotted, jump in. It's Boxy going for the immediate uppercut takedown of Dream, but Dream is able to get the time walk away, but he is hurt badly. Will have to sidestep, and now Liquid make their approach. Mickey, though, gets hit from the Grimstroke ulti. Lots of damage. Nice swift Yules, though, before Blizzy can go in with the finishing blow if it was available to him, and now they both get shackled up, and they're going to get hit hard as Boxy comes back in, punches them both down. Gambit lose 2, soon to lose more as they catch Dream on the side. He will also be finished. Everybody's spamming out all of their new Battle Pass treats, and then the GG's going to get called. I mean, you know, Cap, it was kind of foretold this way. The draft, as you mentioned, just not the strongest for Gambit, and we kind of just saw things played out as it should.